Hey, Prince Bosco here with another video, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite tracks in Mario Kart DS. Super Circuit may have been the first portable entry, but DS is the handheld Mario Kart. This game has some of the most memorable tracks in the series, taking inspiration from all across Mario's history. We see things like Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, even the evil sun from Super Mario Bros. 3 makes an appearance. This entry really is the whole package. Solid roster, fun karts, great courses. It's no wonder why this entry is considered to be one of the best in the series. But today, only one of these classic courses can be the best. So let's get into the list and find out how these good ones rank. Opening up the list at number 10 is Rainbow Road. Yeah, that must be saying a lot about the quality of the courses in this game, when the Rainbow Road barely makes it onto the list. To be honest, I find DS's iteration to be one of the more underwhelming Rainbow Roads, though this might have something to do with the rich company it is surrounded by. It has all the trimmings, boosts and tight windy turns and not a lot of guardrails. Aside from that, by far the most defining part of this track are the speed sections, where you go through loop-de-loops and corkscrews. They are quite exhilarating and fun, also adding a great spectacle. But unfortunately, that's the highs of this road by a long shot. The music is fine, has nothing on 64 Double Dash Wii's or 7's, but it's still good enough. It does the job, and it does it well. Nothing much more to add. It's a perfectly fine Rainbow Road. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Wario Stadium. So it might be like a bit long and slow, with only a few bursts of actions here and there. Oh wait, that's 64's Wario Stadium. DS's Wario Stadium is what that one wishes it was. This one is a fast-paced romp that never lets up. Speed boosts are littered absolutely everywhere. Some areas with the deep mud make them practically mandatory to use. There are fire rings to jump through and bumps and ramps everywhere. This track captures the essence of a fast-paced, action-packed stadium near perfectly. Also, the music is positively boppin', although I think we all know that this isn't its best placement. And at number 8 we have Cheep Cheep Beach. I seem to have a fondness for beach-themed tracks, and this is another perfectly solid one. I think what makes beach tracks so good to me is that they're usually so open. The beach is naturally a wide and more forgiving racing destination, with water being a great light obstacle that isn't too punishing. Also, you gotta have some crabs. What is a beach without some crabby boys? Beaches also look really nice, and this is probably one of my favorite looking tracks on the DS. It is just so calm, but with a hint of excitement. Ramps and speed boosts are a fun combo, and it's a smart design to have that be the method to leap over the water. And that means that it isn't too punishing if you do miss the ramp. Who needs to go outside when you have a great summer day on your Nintendo DS? Now that we are at number 7, we get to see DS's Bowser Castle. I might have thought that the Rainbow Road was a little underwhelming, but I can't really say the same for Bowser's Castle. This one might not have the nail-biting action of future ones, but it has a foreboding atmosphere with tons of tricky obstacles that will throw you off. There's this cool room here where the floor spins and fire is spewing from the ceiling. You can either go through the safe way, or take a nice shortcut through here and get to this coil up. Then it leads to the most memorable part of the track, this rotating cylinder where it is really easy to fall off. Falling off will force you to take a slower way, and you can easily get screwed over by an item or another racer. Like that. Stupid Daisy. This track never really lets up. It's a constant threat of losing a lot of time. It is quite the challenging Bowser's Castle, but also quite a fun one too. Meeting us at number 6 is Peach Gardens. A nice change of pace when it comes to Special Cups. Usually these final tracks are either really intense or have this grand feeling about them, but it's kind of hard to feel that when you're driving through hedges. However, don't let the calm atmosphere fool you. This is very much a Special Cup track. It might not look the part, but it certainly acts it. This is actually a pretty challenging course where you'll have to keep focus and make some really tight maneuvers. I mean, I'm sure that these weren't put together with go-karts going through them in mind. There are also some guard dogs in the form of chain chomps. Adding an obstacle like this in an already challenging spot is quite devious, but their movements are very predictable. So keep an eye out and make those drifts, and you'll find this track to be quite a challenging but satisfying experience. Hey, we're in the top 5! And now we take a visit to Delfino Square. So the town has emptied the streets for us and gave us the opportunity to drive through the square, weaving between houses and across the dock. You can even boost off this bridge, which opens and closes throughout the race. I will admit that Delfino does look a little more gray than I remember, but it still captures the feeling of driving through a town excellently. There isn't a whole lot of wiggle room for the majority of the race, so you'll have to take advantage of every inch the track gives you. A lot of what makes this course work is just how much it feels like the setting. It isn't some normal circuit with a town backdrop, you properly feel like you're racing through Delfino Square. And that is really cool. In at number 4 is Tick Tock Clock, and what makes it good? Just about everything. This is when we start getting into the real heavy hitters, because this track is fantastic. Theme alone, perfect. Making a track based on a very memorable Super Mario 64 level is brilliant. Everything about the track takes direct inspiration from the level. Every obstacle feels in line with the theme as things move like a pendulum or in a round gear-like motion. It's all about timing. You need to pay attention to how things are moving. If you hop on a gear that's moving in the wrong direction, well, you'll naturally slow down. Or you're gonna have to make a judgment on, do I go clockwise or go counterclockwise? And the music is so cool as well. It is called Tick Tock Clock for a reason. It is no wonder why this is one of the most memorable tracks in not only the game, but also the entire series. And we're just at number 4. At number 3 we have Luigi's Mansion. It's our resident spook fest of the game. And I think it does a pretty good job. I love that you start off the race by entering the mansion. Chandelier threatening to fall, but it's just some poltergeist playing with you. Driving down the twisty layout and escaping through some dungeon thing. But you're still not safe. Now you're driving through a graveyard. Probably where all these boos came from that hover around. Then you enter the mud section, which I actually don't mind. Some may find it annoying, but I actually think it's a cool challenge. You're trying to get to these clear areas and just try to gather any amount of traction that you can. Oh, and the obstacles you have to watch out for are walking trees? Those scared the crap out of me as a kid, and I can't blame me. Look how unnerving that is. Creeping around on their, root things. It's a very sufficiently spooky track. It does the job well. Our runner-up today is Airship Fortress. And what an incredibly strong track we got here. It takes those levels from Super Mario Bros. 3 and perfectly adapts them into a track. Everything you'll encounter is just perfectly fitting. I mean, you start off by being blasted at by the airship itself, before you board it and have to weave through those multi-moles who toss those wrenches at you. You make your way through the ship, dodging those fire geysers before being blasted out of a cannon into the fort. You are literally a part of the siege. And sure, there are other tracks that have cannons, but here it just feels so natural. Or at least as natural as being blasted out of a cannon can feel. You wind down the guard tower with the edge crumbling away. I don't know how they managed to make a slow auto-scrolling level feel so energetic and fast-paced, but they made it happen. The setting is amazing, and it's kind of shocking we hadn't seen that yet. But hey, leave it to DS to take inspiration from such a cool part of the franchise. But before we get to number 1, I got some honorable mentions. Do I even have to say it? It's Waluigi Pinball. I mean, yeah, it's the obvious choice, but I can't help it. The track is just amazing. I honestly tried to take a critical look at this track. Like, come on, is it really all that great? Yes. Yes, it is. So at first I figured, the actual pinball table is such a small part of the track. How could the rest hold up? While it is definitely the highlight, the rest of the track is incredibly well designed. It pumps you full of energy as you fly through the start of the track, and then it is just a downhill rush through twisty turns and big jumps. All the while, the pinballs roll around you and are actually a formidable opponent. You are also constantly surrounded by neon lights in the twisting track, and of course the pinball table is always in view with those giant spotlights and of course the giant Waluigi. When you think that'd be enough stimulus, you actually land on the table. Now the colors are turned up to 11, and you are bouncing around with the pinballs you saw earlier. But if you make it past the guards, you even get to hear a noise signifying the pinball player's failure. This isn't even mentioning the unique item roulette jingle and the perfect music for the setting. This is one of the best designed tracks in the entire series, and it has a high reputation for a reason. It is one of my favorite tracks, and you know what? I think I'm going to play some right now. So that was my top 10 list for Mario Kart DS. It was actually really challenging to come up with because so many of these tracks are just really good. DS didn't just give us the basics. I mean, it did. But it also dug deep to give us some really inspired ideas. Growing up, it was the handheld Mario Kart to have, and I certainly put my hours into it. It's just such a memorable title and still holds worth to this day. And it's not surprising to learn that so many of the tracks have been remade since. But I think everybody's got their own list when it comes to this game. Maybe Waluigi Pinball's overrated, maybe I was too harsh on the Rainbow Road. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But hey, I think that's all for me today, so until next time, see ya, and stay awesome.